Hello, welcome back to Art Club, you guys. Excited to have you here. Today we've got another fun project going on where we're going to be making these super cute hats with resistance painting, and you can even add on your very own pom-pom at the top if you like. So step number one today is going to be to get out our oil pastel. I'm just using the white one, but if you have other colors of oil pastel, feel free to use that as well. Totally up to you. But your first step is going to be to come up with some cool designs and color them onto your hat. Now you're not going to really be able to see what I'm doing here, right? I'm just going to do a really quick one for the video, so you guys don't need to watch me do a ton here. But once I've got down here and up here everything drawn on and designed the way I want it to, just like we have been this week, our next step is going to be to take our watercolor. Let's see, maybe I'm going to make this one red. Why not, right? Very fun color. Nice and bright and bold. So I'm going to activate that watercolor cake and really get my paintbrush saturated with that. And I'm going to, this is the magic part. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's so cool, isn't it? I just love that. Does not ever get old. Alright, so I would paint in my whole hat until it looks something like this. Okay, so I've got my, the whole thing was designed out. Then I painted it. Now you guys get to choose. If you want to paint it all one solid color like I did, cool. Maybe you want to paint different sections, different colors. This is up to you, where you get to be the artist and decide what you would like for your hat, okay? So as you can see as well, aside from coloring with our oil pastels and then painting with our watercolor, our next step then is going to be to take our scissors and cut that hat out, right? So I've got this one cut out and ready to go. So probably the most complicated part of the project is going to be making a cute little pom-pom for the top. Now, as you guys can see, this, all of this, right, different steps are optional. So you can choose if you don't want a pom-pom on the top of yours, you could just color that in instead. But the pom-pom is kind of fun. So I am going to show you guys one way, there's lots of different ways, but one way to make a pom-pom that you could then glue to the top of your hat if you like. So this technique is going to involve yarn, of course, and a fork. Oh, and scissors, of course, too. But, so yarn, fork, scissors. So my first step is going to be, I'm going to kind of get it ready to tie off. That's going to be my first step. I've just found that this is easier if we kind of plan ahead versus trying to tuck this through after the fact. So what I do is I'm just going to take my yarn and I'm going to put it through the middle of my fork so that there's some on the front side and some on the back side. And I'm going to make this longer than it needs to be, just because then it's easier to hold on to. So I'm going to have it come all the way down to the bottom. It definitely, that's way longer than it has to be for the step that we're using this for, which will be to tie off our pom-pom. But you can always cut some off, right? And it's just easier to hold when I have it nice and long like that. All right, the next step for making a pom-pom, once we've got this kind of through there, we want to just hold it on. So when we're holding the base of our fork, I just kind of hold the yarn along with it. So the next step is going to be to wrap the top of my fork dozens, maybe even 100 times with my yarn. The more you wrap your fork, the fluffier your pom-pom is going to be. So notice I'm just kind of holding with my thumb to start, and I'm going to wrap it around and just keep on wrapping. Now after I wrap it a few times, the yarn is going to kind of hold down that little tab there. So I'm going to wrap it a few more times. Once I feel like, yep, I've wrapped it enough, I will take my finger off. Now I still want to make sure that I'm holding on to this string down here, but now I can just kind of wrap, and I'm going to try to get this really nice and thick. So once again, I mean, I could be done right now. This is just going to be a not very fluffy pom-pom. So the more you wrap it and the thicker the yarn is on here, the fluffier your pom-pom is going to be. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to stop it here because I don't need this to be a fluffy one. And I just want to show you guys what is going to happen. So now that I've got it like this, I've got that string still down here. This is up here ready to go. I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to bring it from the back through the middle. So see how it was in the back there? I'm going to bring it through the middle one again. And sorry, I can't hold this close to the camera because I need 2 hands for this part. But now I'm just going to tie it into a knot. And I want to tie it as tight as I can. So really, really tight. Tying that down like this. And I'm going to do, like, you guys, a triple, quadruple, just tie a whole bunch of knots so that it doesn't come loose on you. So tying a whole bunch of knots here, just like that. And then I can cut off, so it's going to look kind of like this. Sort of looks almost like a butterfly, right? And I can tie or cut off all of the extra. I don't need that anymore. So it's going to look something like this, okay? So our next step is we're going to take it off of the fork. It's kind of a scary step, but that's what we do. And then where the fork was, I'm going to put my scissors and just start cutting anywhere that the yarn was kind of in that U shape where it was wrapped around the fork. I'm just going to start to cut it like that. So anywhere I see it connected, and I can stick it. If you can try to get it right in that tunnel where the fork was, you can kind of get a lot at one time. So keep on cutting until it looks like I've gotten all of it opened up, or at least most of it. So you can see I didn't wrap it a ton. This one's not nearly as fluffy as the one where I wrapped it a whole bunch more times. And it might look a little bit like it needs a haircut at first, but that's okay. Just go on in and make it a little more even looking, give it a little haircut like that. And once you've got that done, you're going to take your liquid glue, put a good old globber of glue on there, and glue down your pom-pom. So you can see with a little bit fluffier one, it covers more of the paper. And of course, you're going to want to let that dry for some time because this is quite a big chunk of yarn on here. So we want to let it dry for a few hours before it's ready to hang up and decorate your home. So that is our project today. Now you did get a couple of these, so if you want to make more than one, you totally could. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention to you guys, if you've got any of these fun little tissues, that's another thing. These are kind of a bonus. You could glue down with that, either with your glue stick, or you could take some liquid glue and kind of paint them down. So that's another option too. But get creative, have some fun. I can't wait to see how these turn out. Thanks so much for joining, you guys. I hope you had so much fun with these activities. See ya.